Hey everyone, this is the this is my review. This is the intro to my reviews of the television sitcom episodes of Sydney to the Max, Cooper and Cammy as the World. This is my review of two of their most recent episodes. This is also the first in a new series of videos I'm going to be doing. When it comes to new premieres on Disney Channel, since I'm a huge fan and huge watcher of the brand new late 2010s and 2020s Disney Channel, I decided to whenever my favorite shows or Disney Channel movies have a new premiere, I'm going to do first a live post episode or post film reaction and review. Then later in the future, my stereotypical audio narration reviews. Then of course in the future, the video commentary based reviews. But this is the live action review. This is the live action review of Sydney to the of episodes 18 and 19 of Sydney to the Max. 18 premiered 2 weeks ago, which was the episode with Olive's brothers and the Alley Fighters video game. Then you had episode 19, which was yesterday. I just got done watching the hour long. I just got done watching the third encore presentation of the show today, of that episode today. There will be a fourth one tomorrow. What's his name? Then you have the Cooper and Cammy As the World episodes. You have the last one, which Would You Rather Be Ragnar's, which was okay. Wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad either. Then you had episode Would You Rather Date Someone Else, which was for the most part good up until the finale of the final scene of that episode, which I'm going to talk about in part 2 of that video. So with that being said, let's get started right now.
Levi, why are you sitting so close to the TV?
Well, it's only a 45-inch screen. Nowadays, they make 65-inch UHD 5.8
Alright,
TVs.
now it's time for
So
my
long.
review of the
As a
first
director, I need to see the whole
season
picture.
4
The aspect ratio's off.
season finale, episode 18, Saved by the Bell. What a phenomenal episode this was. I thought this was the better of the 2 episodes, even though the second episode is the better season finale. This episode right here featured 2 plots. The second plot, however, in my opinion, could have been done without. We're going to talk about the A plot. The A plot first. The A plot had Booker and Mia competing for superlatives, special labels, and I think a presidency spot. I don't remember which one they were competing for, but something like that. Booker Booker has Levi hook him up with a Booker receives a vision. Booker receives a vision of the entire class, the entire class congratulating him. The entire class congratulating him, and this gives him this has him come up with a this makes him confident. So he has Levi have his phone play a special beat, which he does an awesome rap over that gets the crowd's attention. Later on in that same episode, Booker chokes on some chips, and Nia does the Heimlich maneuver and coughs them out and squeezes them out of his mouth, and Nia is then held a hero, stealing Booker T's thunder and all the attention from Booker. So Booker, Nia, and Ramon, who appears in this episode, Tessa's boyfriend, who also reveals that Tess is at campus champion playing basketball, which she actually refused in the Sharp Objects episode earlier this season. Either way, that's it. So I like how they gave Tess closure, even though it sucks that she's not here. What else? Oh yeah. So yeah, Ramon and Nia and Booker come on a plan to restore his reputation. So Booker comes with a plan to have Nia pretend to choke on some fries, and Booker will perform the Heimlich maneuver on her, squeezing the fries out of her mouth. Booker does it, and Booker they perform the plan to success. However, Angelica Marino, returning from the high school after school activity episode, she returns in this episode. She sees what they were on to. She notices that the fries didn't come out. She was standing there the whole time, and the fries did not come out of Nia's mouth. And she notices Booker's plan. This causes Booker to lose popularity to everyone, and causes Nia to become more popular because they think she's a great sister for going along with this deceitful plan, this deceitful, dishonorable plan, and this ruins Booker's popularity. Even more. Later in this same episode, Booker comes with a new way to restore his popularity, and unknowns to himself, he accidentally helps a girl who dropped her book, something like that. Then he accidentally pats a guy who was choking on chips or something, and the guy, when he pats him on the back, that knocks the chips out of his mouth, and he saves that guy's life, and once again becomes a hero, and his popularity is briefly restored until Angelica comically says, Booker, you're a hero, and it's all thanks to Nia. And they all go cheer Nia up. Booker at first gets discouraged, but then he learns a valuable lesson, how it's not about popularity and superlatives. All that matters is that guy is okay, and that now that since Nia saved his life and Booker saved his life, more people will now take that Heimlich maneuver class, and had no one took that Heimlich maneuver class, who knows where Booker and the other guy whose life Booker just saved would be now. And Booker wins most inspirational. Then he quickly forgets about the lesson and says, oh, let me check the popularity results. And then Nia and Angelica look at him like are you serious? And then Booker says, I'm kidding, and that resolves that plot. Now, going to the terrible B plot. How? If this was Levi's storyline and arc, while I love the punishment at the end, if this was his storyline and arc, he should have missed this episode right here. Levi should have missed this episode, just like Tess. If this was his plot, you can remove most of Levi's plot, and the episode for the most part would still be the same. I guess that would leave Chelsea and Raven without something to do. Hate when they do this, when they see these are all main characters here, so they have to come up with things for the other characters to do too, even if they're totally useless and just don't belong in this quote unquote episode. And that was the case case, here, Levi, in a completely unset up plot. This plot was never hinted at or set up. Levi wants a big screen TV. Levi is too close to the television watching it and wants a big screen TV instead of sitting back. You're not supposed to stay in that. You're not supposed to sit that close to the television instead of standing back like everyone else, standing back on the couch like everyone else. He says he wants a big screen. He wants a big screen TV. He wants a big screen TV, and he tries 2 unsuccessful times to try to get Raven and Chelsea to buy a TV. Each time, Raven shoots him down, saying you have to sit on the couch and make do with what you got, like the rest of us. And then Raven and Chelsea at Raven's job is reading letters from some war veterans from the 40s, Patricia and I think Davy, something like that. Patricia and Davy something like, I don't remember the male's name. Well, anyway, Levi, after Levi's second unsuccessful attempt to get Raven to change her mind on a TV, he comes with a plan to write letters convincing Raven and Chelsea, outsmarting them, convincing them to buy a TV. So he adds some stuff to the war veterans, the deceased war veterans' letters, and it is here where Chelsea doesn't catch on, but Raven quickly catches on when blue screens and picture show appear in the letter, and this is where Raven figures out that Levi wrote the rest of these letters and tried to trick them into buying him a big screen TV. Chelsea eventually figures it out. Chelsea eventually figures it out after Raven tells her, and Chelsea says, "My good genius." No, I meant my bad genius. My bad genius. And then Raven says, "Oh, Levi, that think he can pull a fast one over us, and you think he can outsmart us?" And then Chelsea says, "Well, yeah." And then Raven says, "What?" Well, Chelsea says, "I still want a big screen TV." Then Raven's like, "Come on!" And then they go back at the house, and then they give Levi a chance to confess, but Levi refuses and continues to go along with it because Levi foolishly believes he's pulled one over on them. So they pretend to find some more letters and read some more letters, with the last letters revealing that they know about Levi's plan and giving him his punishment, 2 months worth of chores. 2 months worth of chores. Back in Nia and Booker's plot, they celebrate with a Friday movie, black and white movie night, to which at first they think they're being punished until Raven suggests Booker using his inspiration to inspire Levi to get better on the chores, something like that. To get better on the chores, they all decide to have movie night where Levi hopes to join them, but Raven and Chelsea says, go back in there and start cleaning. And Levi goes back in there and start cleaning, and that's how the episode ends. Like I said, I love the punishment at the end. But I hated this episode. I hated the B plot, Levi's plot. I felt if that was Levi's storyline, he could have just took that whole thing out. You could have just took that whole thing out. You could have took that whole storyline. He could have missed this episode too. So this was a better episode, but the second episode was a better season finale and probably series finale. So with that being said, get ready for episode 19, So You Think You Can Drive.
You know what I want? Hi. Hi, Mom. Hi, Ray. Here's your
Hey everyone, it's time for the second and final part of my Raven's Home Season 4 finale review. This is episode 19. There will be no video or audio of the episode playing in the background because for some odd reason none of the websites I go to rewatch these shows has the episode up now. They have episode 18 but not 19, the final one. So I think the episode is called So You Think You Can Drive, which is a play on So You Think You Can Dance, I think. Anyway, this episode right here, while not as good as the previous episode, the Saved by the Bell, this episode right here was still, this episode right here was a great season finale. And if it is the end of Raven's Home, a great send off to a great series. And just like the first one, Saved by the Bell, completely redeemed that horrible say yes to the protest episode. That episode that I reviewed from last week, that episode was so bad it killed my weekend. It killed my weekend. This episode was these two episodes were awesome. And this episode here, the only problem I have with this episode is the absence of Tess. Throughout this episode, Booker and Nia want to drive, but Raven at first goes along with it, but then gets scared, and then forbids them from driving. Actually, she at first refuses, but then Booker brings up a recording of her promising them that if they ever got their learning permits, which they did, she'll teach them to drive. She tries to, but then forbids them again after getting scared. So then they want Chelsea to do it. They want Chelsea to do it. Chelsea is scared too. Chelsea is scared and doesn't want to do it too, even though Levi tries to speak up and says, "My mom is interested." Anyway, Chelsea. Levi. Raven and Booker and Nia then call Devon, their father, to come teach him how to drive. And it's also to come teach him how to drive. And it's also, I think, on Booker's part, a plan to get back together. So Devon comes back. Devon comes all the way back, and it turns out he was been trying to come back anyway. He's been trying to get a job here in Chicago to be closer to the family. So he what does he do? Oh yeah, he starts helping out around the house. And at first I thought it was going to be that episode where Devon starts coming back and starts being more of a more and a better legal guardian than Raven, by doing all of these things, by fixing everything and doing all of these things with the kids, like teaching them how to drive. It started off that, but then it completely went in a different direction when it turned out it was a whole ploy to have them fix everything, so not only so they can learn how to drive, but also so they can get Raven and Devon back together, back together. And on one certain contraption, Booker slips on Nia's contraption, and in the process messes up his leg, sprains and breaks his ankle. Nia tries to call in Chelsea. Chelsea comes in. She slips and breaks her ankle too. So Nia has to drive both of them to the quote unquote hospital. When Booker alerts to Devon and Raven that he's injured, they at first laugh it off until they notice that Chelsea is also in the hospital. Then they panic even more when Levi comes and tells them, no, they got injured. Chelsea didn't drive them there. Nia drove them there. And that's where they go, and Devon accidentally breaks the door and says, "I'll fix it when we get back." And he says, "Let's go." And they go there. So they go to the emergency room where they all reconcile, and this is where Devon reveals that he'll be returning to Chicago as the weatherman for Chicago to be closer to the family. And Raven, I think she doesn't say yes to getting back together either, but she doesn't say yes, but she doesn't totally reject and refuse him either. And the episode ends with Levi going on his trip to Europe without Chelsea, and Levi going on his trip to Europe, and Nia and Booker is still Booker is still injured, but he does comically tell Levi to stop doing the accent, and everyone lives happily ever after. And in the final scene before the credits roll, Chelsea and Raven they quote the theme song. They quote the theme song, signaling that this could be the end of the series, where Raven says, "Had a vision, but life had other plans." And then Chelsea replies, "Tell him, Ray, tell him, Ray, tell him, Ray." And then Ray hears a phone call. And then Ray chooses not to answer it because she says, "No." For the first time, Raven is not home, signaling that it could be the end of the series. And I like this right here. If it is the end, this was the perfect send-off. However, it only ended the first part of the series. You can still continue in a different direction for season 5. So they did a cool season finale that opens up two possibilities. One, the first possibility is that this is the end. This is the send-off of a great series, and the other possibility is that their whole new lives, because their whole new lives are going to be different now, and that season 5 will be completely different from seasons 1 through 4, which that's another thing. If there is a season 5, I want more of, like I said in the previous part, I want more of Angelica Maruno, more Ramon, more of Olivia Ali Fernandez from Upside Down, Pepper from Upside Down Magic, and Chloe from Sydney to the Max. I want more of those characters. I want more consistency and more continuations. One of the problems I had with this season 4 was Booker and Nia still trying to do the same stuff, trying to pull one over on their mother and going behind her back and doing stuff when she says no and getting punished. You think after 3 seasons of getting caught, they would stop doing that, but they continuously did it during this season, and it affected my enjoyment of the show. Say Yes to the Protest, in my opinion, nearly killed any enjoyment of the show I had. These 2 episodes redeemed it. So yeah, I want to see more improvements if there is a season 5. And like I said before, I want to see more characters from the original That's So Raven. I want to see Tanya Baxter back. I want to see Corey Baxter. I want to see Newt, Mina, and even Stickler and the President of the United States from the Corey in the House series. Then I want to see Justin Russo. I want to see Justin Russo, David Henry, who was on That's So Raven before Wizards of Waverly Place. Then I want to see Corey's other friend William, Corey's previous girlfriend Cindy, the other one that was in Corey that he had in Corey in the House. I can't remember her name. Then who else? Want to see this won't ever happen, but want to see Eddie Thomas back. Eddie Thomas back won't happen because of Orlando Brown, what he's been doing in real life. I want to see Stinky Sturkey, the teacher who spits. Yeah, so yeah, I want all these characters back, man. So what else about That's So Raven? I mean, what else about Raven's Home? So yeah, this was a good closure to an awesome series. If this is the end, but I'm pretty sure, like I said, it could go either way. But I'm pretty sure Disney will return for season 5 because this is a popular show. This is their cash cow, and I don't think the COVID-19 pandemic they've seemed to have taken care of that. Several episodes of this season were not filmed in front of a live studio audience, so that's how you remedy that. That's how you remedy that and still practice social distancing on the set and stuff. The COVID-19. I heard one person said it appears to be a ratings and a budget issue, and most likely a budget issue, because Disney does have this. I do see this unwritten season 4 rule. Bunk got more because they got rid of the older cast members and replaced them with new ones. That's a camp show, so you can always add and remove members. That's how that got a season 5. season 5, and I'm predicting Ravens Home will get it too. People try to say I'm even arguing with a person on one of the Wikipedia pages for Ravens Home saying they cancel shows like I Didn't Do It, and I Didn't Do It, Stuck in the Middle, Dog with a Blog, and Best Friends Whenever. Dog with a Blog ended. Stuck in the Middle started off good, but as the show went along, the ratings kept decreasing. I saw that show only once. It was okay. I have more appreciation for the show now because it launched the careers of Isaiah Presley, who portrays Popco in Fuller House, and I think her name is Jenny Ortega, something like that. The main female character. So in launching those two awesome actors and actresses' careers, I have more appreciation for the show now. But at the time, I just thought it was okay. It was okay to watch, but a shell of what Disney Channel used to be. Then you have Best Friends Whenever, and I Didn't Do It. Best Friends Whenever. I have more appreciation for this show now because the tough girl character, I keep forgetting her name, but she's Rocky. She's Rocky in Fuller House, Jackson's second girlfriend and love interest in Fuller House. And that show did have an awesome theme song, but that was another terrible, stupid, cheesy sitcom, and it got canceled without any notice because the show was terrible. Then you have what was another show? I Didn't Do It. Probably one of the dumbest shows ever. The cast of the show was great, but the premise and the storylines and arcs were absolutely atrocious. Even the theme song was stupid. Stupid. Let me take a picture of taking a picture of you. Something like that. That was the final verse of something like that. The whole premise where they all are accused of something and they do something, but then at the end of the episode they gotta somehow get together and prove that they didn't do it. The dumbest premise I've ever seen for a sitcom, and that's why it was canceled without any notice, because it show sucked. Ravens Home, this was a cash cow and an extremely popular show. They're not going to cancel it without any knowledge. They'll eventually announce something, and then he tried to bring up Cooper and Cammy Ask the World. They keep saying that was canceled. I don't think that was canceled. I only think that the other 3, there were 31 episodes, so the other 3 episodes were canceled, were quote unquote canceled. I think that was only meant to be 2 seasons. I think the show just simply ended. I don't see after episodes 20, after the season finale where Principal Walker moves in, what other storylines and story arcs could you do nowadays? And yeah, I think that was just meant to be 28 to 31 episodes. It was meant to be 31 episodes, but it got shortened due to the COVID pandemic 19. I do hope they somehow finish. They never announced the actual cancellation of that show, and I do hope they do finish the other 3 episodes in the future. Something like that. Air them as the lost episodes, something like that. But yeah, but the show just appears to have just finished, and just roll with it, which I think no one else says is canceled, but the Wikipedia page says it's canceled. The Just Roll With It wiki page says it's canceled, and that show was barely on, and ratings decreased as it went along, and that was a good comedy series, but it had a really weird premise. The premise was entertaining, but it was very weird and kind of dumb for a television show. So but this is the difference between Ravens Home and all those shows being canceled. So with that being said, I'm finished for now. You don't want to hear the rest of the music? Turn the video off right now.
We'll save the world, teach that every lesson together.
you with my